In 1978, a single spark in South America almost triggered a total naval apocalypse. Imagine standing on the deck of a multi-million-dollar aircraft carrier, completely oblivious that a projectile flying just 3 meters above the water is about to blow your entire world into pieces. This was the terrifying reality for the Brazilian Navy as their continental rival, Argentina, initiated a geopolitical chess move that pushed Brazil into an absolute corner. Facing Brazil's massive surface fleet and the majestic aircraft carrier Minas Gerais, Argentina refused to fight a traditional war of attrition. Instead, they acquired a silent sea skimming assassin designed specifically to transform Brazil's proud capital ships into floating burning graveyards. But how could a small, lightweight aircraft single-handedly paralyze an entire naval superpower before it even realized it was under attack? For the first 45 seconds of this lethal countdown, the enemy radar remains completely blank. The Predator approaches at ultra-low altitude, hiding underneath the radar horizon to blind the Brazilian defenses. This hidden monster is the Dassault Super Etendard strike fighter, a French-born tactical assassin. Argentina strategically paired this aircraft with the notorious AIM-39 Exocet anti-ship missile. This weapon combination did not just fly, it was built to completely shatter Brazil's naval dominance. The aircraft's SNECMA engine was engineered perfectly to hunt at low levels, consuming minimal fuel while skimming the waves. Meanwhile, the Agave radar system was designed to snap open, lock onto a giant target like the Minas Gerais in under 5 seconds, and feed that fatal data directly into the missile. It was a flawless tactical trap. Before we go on, do you think Brazil can survive this lethal strike? Subscribe now to follow this ultimate military clash and tell me where you are watching from. To understand the sheer lethality of this trap, you must dissect the mechanical heart of this French assassin. The Dassault Super Etendard was not built to win supersonic dogfights. Instead, its SNECMA engine was engineered specifically to conquer the dense air right above the ocean waves. This power plant allowed the aircraft to swallow massive distances at low altitudes without consuming excessive fuel. This capability was born to break the long-range early warning net of the Brazilian fleet. But an engine alone cannot sink a superpower. The real brain behind the ambush was the Thomson CSF Agave radar system. This radar was not designed for general scanning. It was created to pierce the ocean mist, detect a massive warship at over 100 kilometers, and feed that telemetry directly into the missile computer. This brought the secondary nightmare into play: the AIM-39 Exocet anti-ship missile. Once dropped from the wing of the Super Etendard, this missile transformed into a sea-skimming predator. It dropped to a height of just 2 to 4 meters above the sea surface, rendering Brazil's traditional air defense guns completely useless. This low-altitude trajectory meant the missile hid beneath the radar horizon of the Brazilian ships, masking itself in the chaotic sea clutter. By the time a Brazilian commander could see the weapon, it would be less than 10 kilometers away, leaving fewer than 30 seconds to react. This weapon combination gave Argentina the ultimate asymmetric advantage, effectively creating a deadly wall over the South Atlantic. For Brazil, their prized aircraft carrier and escort destroyers were suddenly transformed from instruments of power into massive, defenseless targets waiting to be neutralized. In actual combat, this tactical dance becomes a pure psychological thriller. Imagine the Argentine strike fighter screaming across the South Atlantic, flying at a dangerously low altitude of under 30 meters. It utilizes the flat ocean surface as a giant shield, completely erasing its radar signature from the Brazilian fleet. But at exactly 50 kilometers away, the Argentine pilot pulls the stick back, forcing the aircraft to pop up into the sky for just 5 agonizing seconds. The Agave radar snaps open, sweeps the horizon, and locks onto the helpless Brazilian warships. In a flash, the Exocet missile is unleashed, dropping down to just 2 meters above the waves to begin its fatal sprint. Brazil's naval fortress is suddenly left completely blind and defenseless, facing a high-speed threat that bypasses their traditional anti-aircraft guns. But Brazil was not about to just sit there and accept defeat. They quickly realized that this high-tech predator possessed a massive, fatal mechanical vulnerability. The Dassault Super Etendard was a highly specialized, closed ecosystem, completely dependent on European logistics. Every single component, from the sophisticated radar chips to the critical Martin Baker ejection seats, relied on a fragile foreign supply chain. When geopolitical pressure intensified and Western nations slammed a strict arms embargo on Argentina, this advanced strike fighter was instantly suffocated. Without foreign spare parts, the Argentine miracle came to a grinding halt. The deadly hunter was suddenly grounded, trapped on the tarmac by its own logistical nightmare. Argentina held the ultimate weapon, but they lacked the industrial stamina to maintain it, exposing a critical weakness that Brazil was already preparing to exploit in the next round of this military chess match. This logistical strangulation ultimately sealed the fate of the Argentine predator, proving that tactical brilliance means nothing without industrial endurance. By the time we reach the modern era of 2026, the era of the French assassin has officially ended. Argentina has permanently retired the Super Etendard fleet, shifting the geopolitical balance once again by acquiring advanced F-16 fighting Falcons to revive their fading air power. But the deep historical scar left by the sea-skimming nightmare completely transformed the naval doctrine of South America. Brazil learned the hard way that a giant fleet is just a collection of massive targets if it lacks a shield against low-altitude killers. This opened the door for a massive military revolution across the continent, shifting the focus from the sheer size of a warship to the intelligence of its electronic warfare and missile defense systems. Argentina initiated this intense match by serving a lethal, asymmetrical blow that shook Brazil to its very core. But the Brazilian giant was already orchestrating an incredible comeback. To completely neutralize the threat of incoming sea-skimming missiles, the Brazilian Navy secretly prepared a domestic countermeasure, a specialized class of defensive frigates armed to shoot down threats flying faster than the speed of sound. This strategic response is exactly how the game of military ping-pong works, where every offensive weapon creates its own technological destroyer. The era of vulnerable surface fleets was officially over, replaced by an invisible war of radar waves and automated interception systems. If you were a naval commander facing a hidden predator, would you invest your entire budget into a single giant aircraft carrier or a fleet of smaller, heavily armed defensive warships? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let us know which strategy wins the ocean.